Like all things, we start with the ceremonial.
It's okay. You said it. Whatever.
Yeah, that's gonna fall. Hello, everyone. We would like to welcome you heartily back to the very first time we've all seen each other in person in many, many years. Applause now. This is no longer an annual event. We have broken the stinking mold here. Damn you, COVID. That really sucked. We have to reorient to ourselves and our history. There's a lot of new faces that are here today. And the last time I heard, I believe we sold 260 tickets or more, which is a new CPOSC record. CPOSC is, for you new folks, a small, low-cost, one-day conference all about all things open source, coding, development, operating systems, project management, networking, systems administration, databases. 3 tracks, including a total of 18 speakers. That's from the start. That was 15 years ago. Can you believe that? It's been largely carried on ever since. We're going to do something to get blood flowing. We know that most of us are sitting behind a computer monitor at home all the time, and we're not used to being out amongst people. This is going to be a hard day. I will talk more about the after party and the open bar later, but what I'd like to talk about now is where we came from. So, some of you are going to be standing longer than others, but if you were at CPOSC in 2008, would you please stand up? Woo! Keep standing, keep standing. I'm so sorry. Don't worry, everyone else is going to join you, so it's only going to be awkward for a moment. In 2009, were you using IRC for back channel chat? Anybody at 2009? Stand up. Oh, yeah. A conciliatory prize. You can raise your hand if you were using IRC in 2009. You just weren't at the conference. All the cool people. Eat that slack. All right. This is what it looked like back then. It was at Harrisburg University. If you were there in that building, in that cool room, stand up in 2010. I'm up. Yes. We're starting to gain traction. That's when Lon Farrenwald started sending these zingers of emails, like one line at a time. Get some geek cred. And it worked. The momentum was building, so much so that the organizers for the next few years didn't have time to leave any assets behind for me to look at. So it's like the burning of the libraries in different places throughout time. It's lost to history. But if somebody can help me with that, I would love that info. So jumping ahead, if you went to any CPOSC up until 2014, go ahead and stand. All right. There's no way to prove whether that's true or not, but okay. What I want to talk about right now, though, is who was giving a talk. Elastic is one of our sponsors, so I feel like this is appropriate. Who is giving a talk on Elasticsearch 9 years ago here? If anybody knows who that was, I'd like to hire that person. Identify them for me. Dev plus ops is another thing I want to zero in on. Do you remember that time period? Is it development? Is it sysadmin? Is it ops? What do we call this thing? Do you remember the strife over what we called this thing? Oh, it's ongoing. We haven't resolved it. The buzzword, was strong. It was a dramatic battle, but I loved how they tactfully dev plus ops. Okay, it's hard to argue with. Anyway, that was fascinating. Oh, notably, this was, I think, the first year that you guys started doing the after party, which, again, I'll talk about later. In 2015, anyone stand up for this one? This is the last of the conferences at the IU. Who remembers the IU 13 building?
this was also, I think, the only other contribution I've ever made to CPOSC was my lightning talk on how to tie your shoelaces better. The most valuable thing I might have done here. And I'm going to zip through it now. In 2016, we moved to the Wear Center. Did you join at that time? If you did, you might have a red T-shirt with a blue fur ball on a skateboard. It is a collector's item. Those are hard to find. 2017, I remember as the year I had my wife help cater, so it was the worst CPOSC of my life. Not because of what she did, but because of what I paid for later for putting her through that. You guys can eat. 2018 was the Decaversary, CPOSC X. Anybody here can stand for that one? Sweet. And we have one more before the pandemic hit. This was the previous record-breaking CPOSC at, I think it was 228 tickets, I do believe. That was a great, great year. It felt very packed, and I'm wondering in the feedback forms that we'll send you after this, if you feel like we're outgrowing the space or not. Be honest. We listen. Then there was this year. The pandemic had hit. We called it CPOSC 12. Such a disappointing dozen. It was not horrible. It was actually really good. But it was a Saturday on Zoom. All day. And attendance got cut in half that year. And though the feedback from those who came was amazing, we totally got the message. And we said, we're going to make that hard choice and we're going to take a year off. And then that became 2 years off. And then we started the plan, but didn't get it done. I think it's been 3 years. And now we're 15 years later. And if this is your first time ever being at CPOSC, would you please stand up? All right. Now, I need the first years to stay standing and everyone else to sit back down. Okay. Because this is cool. It's like the inversion. Look around. We old heads are outnumbered. Note it. This is really cool. We have traditions with first years. And so you get a special orientation, and it is on the 3rd floor up by the pool. So you can head there now. It's like this. We're in this here, and you just go out. There's an elevator, or you can take the stairs. But the pool's up there. Okay. Nobody's too tired. We've all had our coffee. We recognize that today is also April Fool's Day. Can't bullshit bullshitters. So, okay, one thing that we are doing differently this year is the huge thank yous. We're going to make an interact. Oh, you guys can all sit. Stand up. No, because we're going to stand up. Because then you just pull out your phones and scan that quick. Because it's going to be an interactive, little thing for our sponsors. I swear. I can't make it stop. Okay. All right, that's the last of my April Fool's jokes, I swear to God. But let's now keep clapping and throwing it up. This year we did something else because now we're a nonprofit. We don't have to worry about somebody owning the conference and making a lot of money and all that. It's always been a community event. And when I bought this thing, I did it for $1. And the people that sold it to me, they bought it for $1. The stewardship of CPOSC has been a volunteer event the entire time. It's never been a profitable event, or actually slightly 1 year, and that was a horrible year because that didn't help anything because it's not like I could actually do anything with that money. I just got taxed for it. So, learned that lesson once. But it's a nonprofit now. And so we realized with the help of a number of people, Jay, I'm going to call you out again. Thank you for the old boot in the ass. It was one of the things that was standing in our way from huge growth. And huge growth means that we can basically start to really ask for the things that make a conference great. And so we're at a tipping point of potential that, before, we've been limited basically by the blood, sweat, tears, and passion of people that would give themselves and then get burnt out. And then a few years later, they start coming back to CPOSC and they enjoy it again. And you know what I'm talking about if that's you. But it's to the credit of people like this that rise to the occasion and take advantage. When we say, yeah, let's go ahead and lean into this. We doubled our sponsorship rates this year. And these companies both stuck right along with it. So I wanted to say thank you so much to the Webstront store, a local company that you all know. And I want to... Do you know that they are like the largest retailer of what they do? Anyway, I'm running long, so I got to move quick. Cezanne is a local institution that y'all know too. If you go to Pub Standards or Tech Lancaster, you know these guys. You know, Tim's here, and he has helped with CPOS so many times, and Cezanne is just so great at giving. So thank you. Our gold sponsors this year are Elastic and ListTrack. We've got a local company and a company that's been, this is actually a fun fact. We are like Lancaster's the smallest little concentration of people that use Elastic that isn't like San Francisco or New York City. Weird fun fact. So for some reason, Elastic really stuck here. Must have been that CPOSC talk in 2014. Our silver sponsors are Mind Development and Design and Cargus Systems, two excellent, excellent companies I've had such a joy of knowing over the past few years. Thank you. And our bronze sponsors. Here we've got a slew. I'll go counterclockwise. JFC Global, Hug, and Cube. There's satellites. Boyd Technical Solutions, Crunchy Data. Thank you so much for participating in CPOS this year. Millersville University has been a great, terrific host. I mean, truly incredible all of the years we've done this. But this year, with our nonprofit status, they leaned into it even farther. And it was amazing. And I just cannot thank Millersville enough for how they let us use their systems and their facility. Thank you. I will warn you, the likelihood of a lot of feedback saying, yeah, it's a little cramped here, probably will result in more of those little maps with the yellow lines going everywhere, leading you to weird basement rooms and stuff, because we love it here so much. But here's some other stuff that you need to know. It's the old 411. Talking about maps, let's do it. Here's where we are. This auditorium is like the middle of a donut. You can walk all the way around it, okay? Over here is the registration table. You walk right up this way to the bins room. It's up a flight of stairs, and straight on through. If you hang a right, up a couple more flights of stairs is the library room. And so basically, we're in a big open hallway, and you can always hear everyone everywhere. So if you can't hear the dull roar, you're in the wrong place. Lightning Talks. Want to invite a cultural institution and an icon, the one and only Sir Jeff Avery. I just knighted him right here. To share a little bit about Lightning Talks.
So we will have lightning talks later in the day. There were 2 sets on the schedule. We're going to skip the first set so you can eat in peace. They've always been a bit confusing. But at the end of the day, we'll be back here in the big room. Everybody gets 5 minutes. At 4 minutes in, I have a bell to give you a warning. At 5 minutes in, I have a gong, which will sound a little louder when I use the mallet. There is a Google Doc to sign up. The link is definitely in the email you got overnight. It will be in Slack. It probably will end up on the webpage. If not, just find me. Go in, submit what you got to say. You get 5 minutes, and Just come up, plug in your laptop. In between the speakers, we have lightning advertisements. You do not need to sign up. Just come sit in the front of the room. We will give you one of the handheld microphones, and you'll stand over here. You'll say what you got to say while these people over here are switching the laptops around. It takes care of the wasted space. If they're being very slow over here with technical problems, we'll do 2 advertisements. Good advertising topics are, we're hiring. We have an open source project we're working on. I've done something. I found this thing for Lost and Found. Whatever, just come up. You got about 30 seconds, and it will all be fabulous.
That is Jeff Avery, and Lightning Talks are the best. If you have not experienced them, you do want to. Your creativity just lights up by the end of the session. You've signed up, and it just always goes longer. And the bar cannot get any lower than tie better shoelaces. So, you've got something to offer. All right, getting help. If for any reason you need help, the easiest thing to do is go to the registration table. However, if that is not easy to do, email CPOSC at localareanetworks.org, which I'm sorry the domain name's so long. It's not like you pull your phone out and get that done quickly, but that is the way to do that. You can also just find somebody in a blue T-shirt. Okay. The after party is 2 blocks from here. You don't need to change your parking. You don't need to do anything. You just need to meet at 5:30 in the atrium, and we will depart, or whenever the closing remarks finish. There are puzzles. There are games. There are non-alcoholic beverages. There are very alcoholic beverages, all locally sourced and crafted. We got some bevies and finger foods by Merrymaker. It's just plain fun. There might be some retro video games. There's just, it's in TELUS 360, and I'd be remiss if I didn't say you have to go in the back door. Don't go in the front door. There's a lot of things going on tonight with covers, but one of them is Shadowland. Stand up if you've ever been to Shadowland. Woo! It's probably the wrong crowd to actually say stand up to, so sorry about that. But it's basically like the opening, that dance scene in the beginning of The Matrix. That's what I think Shadowland is like, and it's very cool. So anyway, that's happening tonight. So you just, after the after party, there's an even cooler after party. Nom Noms. That was not Bowie, by the way. That was just me, and I forgot to delete Bowie. Lunch is going to be served up in the atrium by the pool. So you elevate yourself up this huge elevator that can carry a baby grand piano, or you just take the stairs. The elevator is probably, slower, but it holds a lot of us. During or after lunch, you can head to the registration table for a second round of T-shirt sign-ups. So that way we can get moving on to talks and not get hung up at the registration table. And also, just so you are aware, recordings of all 3 rooms are going to be made available after the conference, and that is another first. So, cool. Want to thank Marquise putting that together for us. Yeah, TCP. You may recognize the man's crooning voice on NPR occasionally. I've heard him there lately. Isn't that right? Yeah. I was like, wait, I know that guy. What? Anyway, Local Area Networks. This is the nonprofit that runs this conference. I am running long, so I'm going to move quick. But here's what's changed. When we started, we're just doing CPOSC. Recently, we're doing CPOSC, and we're helping meetups. So if you have expenses that are related to grassroots organization of tech anything that involves events, getting together, education, you can come and talk to the people at Local Area Networks, and that is something that we can talk about. Currently, Pub Standards, Tech Lancaster, Help Me, Open Coffee, Elastic User Group Meetup, all are able, in the family of meetups that are interacting, and we're putting together a program where you can get some resources from the nonprofit to do your thing. If you're an admin for Amish Tech Slack, raise your hand. If you're not in Amish Tech Slack, you want to talk to keep your hands up. One of the people have their hands up. I don't know. Because at the end of the day, you'll be part of a Slack channel with close to 1,000 people in it, I think. And it's been active for nearly, I don't know, what did you say, guys, 8 years? And it just keeps growing and growing, and it's a terrific place to to stay in touch. I don't know how this community would have made it through the pandemic without it. So you want to get involved in that. Local area networks is, oh yeah, I'm ahead of myself. What we want to do is grow this conference like hell. In order to do that, we need more volunteers, and we want to recruit more new board members to the nonprofit, and we're finally ready to start